Hi. This morning when I awoken, I saw visions of lots of youth that were in the streets, the actual protesters, and they were crying out for revival. With this, I started praying, and the Lord started showing me that this protest is for revival, and that we, as the church, now need to go into these situations and give them revival. Let's see what some pastors are now doing on the street concerning what I'm talking about right now.
Again, it is starting to grow, but it is not the same as it was yesterday around the same exact time. It is much smaller. And among the crowd is Pastor Frazier of River Lakes Community Church. Now, Pastor Frazier, can you tell me, what are you doing here today?
What I'm doing here today is, first of all, I want to encourage the BPD, the police, and I want to be here to pray for people that need prayer.
And you weren't here yesterday. Can you kind of tell me why was that?
Yeah, I just heard rumors, but I couldn't substantiate the fact that it was going to happen. So we had to go over to the coast for a day, and so we saw it in the evening. We know what was happening, but it was too late to get back over here. So I knew today I'd be here today.
And are you protesting, or what is your goal of being out here as far as being a pastor?
No, what I'm doing is encouraging the BPD. I've been here for 30 years, and hopefully get an opportunity to talk to some of these young people out here and encourage them.
And you do have an event going on Monday. Can you talk quickly about that?
Yeah, Monday what we're asking is people to come out down at the Liberty Bell to pray for 1 hour. That's all we're asking. Come out, no signs, no agenda, other than just to pray for our city and pray for our nation, pray for our country, because violence crushes the neck of justice. It smothers it, and we don't want that. We want justice, but we want to do it the right way. We want due process.
Thank you so much for speaking with me. I really appreciate it. And we're going to be out here all evening giving you guys all the updates. For now, in Bakersfield, Leslie Gooden, 23 ABC News. Back to you, Bayan.
Jesus says, just open your eyes. The fields are ripe for revival. Take a look at this next clip of these three youth that they're crying out for revival. They're looking for peace and justice. We know peace and justice has a name: Jesus.
Martin Miller said it was his first night joining the group, but he felt he had to be there to march.
It's just scary. And the fact that some people think they're above the law is just simply not even right.
That sentiment was felt by many others in the crowd, marching in support of Black Lives Matter.
It just really angers me when I see another minority class, whether it be the black community or the Hispanic community, whether it be another white person that's racially profiled. It's something I don't stand for. So.
The only way for us to really demand justice is to do this, is to speak up, is to donate, is to be here for people that have been influenced directly by police brutality.
The emphasis from those who talk to us: peace, justice can be demanded without a descent into violence.
As I was videotaping this, my phone rings, and I sense, pick it up. So I pick it up, and I'm listening, and Senator Martha McSally from Arizona is giving us a message, a recorded message. Take a look at what she has to say about the situation.
I saw trucks of troops heading down the street, and then I watched as businesses frantically tried to put boards up on their windows. They just opened up after the coronavirus to try and protect their businesses after what they've already been through before the curfew went in, to protect their heart and soul in their business from the looting and the rioting that we've seen. This is a pretty dark time for our country, and in the midst of the darkness, we do see glimmers of hope. During the riots that showcase the worst of humanity, we've also seen the good in humanity. It's nothing short of amazing when you see, I also have seen videos of peaceful protesters, I'm sure afraid, but across the country actually were stepping in and trying to stop looters from entering stores and smashing in the windows. Individuals who wake up the morning after to clean up the storefronts and broken glass and damaged property, even when it isn't their store. For the police officer who hugged and consoled.
Let's take a look at what Jesus is doing In Birmingham, I know many of us have sowed prayers for these very cities that we are seeing hope.
District Attorney in East Washington is calling for peaceful protests here.
But to be violent, to destroy property, is not the way to do it. So we are here to give knowledge and encouragement and to make positive change. And we're not here to incite any violence.
Now let's take a look at what's happening in Greenville concerning this.
The second day of protests in Greenville looked a lot like the first, but something different than the first day was a prayer meeting before the march. Members of local churches gathered and bowed their heads to ask for peace and love in this hard time. And organizer Mikel Perdue says love is what we need to see.
We believe in this moment that love is what our city needs to see, what our country needs to see, what our world needs to see. If we can love better, we can do everything better.
People of all races and ages participated in the prayer before they joined others in the rally for equality. And one participant says this wasn't just a prayer for protesters, but everyone involved.
Our hearts are yearning for a prayer all over the world in Charleston, wherever things are going on, just asking the Lord to put his hand over those areas, to touch those areas, to be with the officers and people who are doing this.
And for the city of Greenville, Perdue's message was unity.
Come together. One message to Greenville, come together, acknowledge differences, acknowledge the past, and we can move forward.
And this is definitely a day that will be remembered. In Greenville, Sophia Redebaugh, 7 News.
I don't know about you, but I see a new pattern here. The pattern is people are awakening and starting out with their protests with prayer. I'm believing that God is going to hear these prayers. Whatever the intent is, God hears our prayers. Now, church, awaken to the new normal.
A new normal for our economy, our social life, our families, and our faith. 2 Chronicles chapter 7 verse 14 says, if my people, which are called by my name, would humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, forgive their sin, and heal their land. So, what now? Now we pray.
I'm not the only one hearing the call for prayer. Look, it's everywhere. Look at what the pastors in Kilgore are now doing.
Joined by several area pastors to call for prayer and call for justice in the George Floyd case. Having seen the clashes between protesters and police across the country, this gathering was to pray for peace during the uproar and to seek social justice through peaceful activism.
People internalize their feelings and it causes problems. So for us to come together today, let everybody say what's on their mind, let the pastors come out, give us a word and a direction, because that's what people need is direction.
We may say the wrong words, we know each other's heart, and that's where the unity comes from.
When one hurt, all of us hurt. And so it should impact all of us to cry out unto God.
The rally finished with organizers asking all people to stay as one peacefully and asking for justice in the case.
And as we are all praying, pastors are putting legs to their prayers. Let's take a look at what's going on in Boston.
Here at Boston Police Headquarters, they were led by members of clergy from across Massachusetts. Take a look at what we saw earlier today. They are clergy united in prayer, justice, and peace. They marched through the streets of Boston, headed, of course, to Boston Police Headquarters, demanding justice for black citizens killed by police. Boston Police Commissioner William Gross was also among the crowd, listening, watching, but perhaps the most powerful moment was, again, this crowd standing in silence for 8 minutes and 49 seconds praying.
We stand for peace, we stand for nonviolence, and all of these preachers have come out to demonstrate that we're united.
Now, of course, the plan was to do it with integrity, love, and peace, and that they certainly did.
There we have it. As we're praying, are we going to awaken and go out and then get involved in this great harvest that Jesus has put before us? Sometimes revival is messy. Sometimes revival doesn't come in a nice little package in a nice little peaceful service in our church. Sometimes revival requires us to go out there and ask some of these people, do you need prayer? And see what Jesus is ready to do.